Hey friends, as promised, let's talk today about food security. We all experienced the empty shelves in the beginning of all of this when the toilet paper was disappearing and quick. We need to be aware of what's going on around us. There are a lot of stores that the shelves are bare. And guys, it's going to continue to get worse. So I pray that right now, none of you are doing any of the live out of your pantry for a month challenges right now. Those challenges are fabulous, but now's not the time. So if you are involved in that, nix that challenge and join mine. You want to have 6 months to a year of food stocked. That's a minimum. I grew up in a setting where we had food available for a long period of time. I'm glad I did. It's ingrained in me. Food security is one of the most important things we need to be thinking about right now. A lot of people live day to day where they shop day to day for their meals. Others have maybe a week's worth of food. The average person has a week to 3 months worth of food in their home. And truly, guys, right now, more than ever, look at it as an investment for your family. You know, you're not going to be wanting to purchase perishable foods like that, because obviously they will go bad if you don't preserve them in some way or another. A large portion of our population lives on processed foods, boxed foods, both meals, desserts. We live from scratch, pretty much 100%. None of our meals are out of a box. We do buy snack food sometimes. I purchase non-GMO pretzels, chips, snack foods, but everything else we make from scratch. And there's purpose in that because we have control of what's in our food. And this has been something we've been doing for a long, long time. I don't expect you to change right now. And many of you would like to switch from the American diet to a from scratch diet. We'll talk about that in another video. But right now, what I want you to focus on is focusing on your favorite meals, what your family enjoys the most. So let's just use mac and cheese for an example. If you currently purchase Kraft or any other brand of mac and cheese out of a box, how many of those do you need for a week? Do you eat it once? Do you eat it twice? Okay, figure that out. How much do you need for a month? Okay, now figure that out and increase that for a year. And do the same with all the rest of your meals, your baked goods, the things you like to have on hand. And make sure that you have 6 months to a year's worth of your favorite foods. It's important that you have a well-balanced diet. Purchase things that are not perishable. Your canned goods, your boxed goods. Stock up, guys. FEMA recommends a gallon of water per day per person. I personally look at that as 2 gallons per day. I like to have more than enough. FEMA looks at that as a half a gallon to drink and another half for cleaning and so forth. So I feel that 2 gallons of water per person per day is good. Many of you live in small locations. You can still stock things. I have a friend who lives in an apartment and blogs and mentions how they put stilts under their bed so that they could put things under their bed, so they could use all their possible space they had to store things. So behind your entertainment center, behind your TV, under your couch, behind your couch, in your closets, on the shelves, under your clothes, anywhere you have nooks and crannies, store things. I prefer to store my foods in containers, even things that are already packaged up. I prefer to store in containers. We have storage containers that we are storing our things in. So I don't have currently a situation with mice, but mice are destructive. Bugs are destructive. So make sure that you're storing your foods properly. But stock up. We've been saying this for years, to live a life of preparedness, that you're always preparing for tomorrow and that you are able to operate tomorrow regardless what happens. So this series is going to continue because it's not just food that we need to think about, but food should be your first and foremost. Stock up on the things you use, you need, your family enjoys. And I mentioned the baked goods. You know, in a situation where things are crazy, it's nice to have comfort foods. So if your family likes having a chocolate cake with chocolate icing, have it on hand. Being able to keep our families going in any situation is really important. Our food storage mindset has really proven itself over the years. I had life-saving surgery in 2016. We went 6.5 months without an income. I was in Georgia for almost a full month. And we never went without a meal. We ended up in a very huge financial situation because of my medical debt and our situation. And we never went without a meal. We ate like kings and queens. Prior to me and to my surgery, I stocked our shelves. We had plenty of meat in jars on the shelves. We had plenty of vegetables and condiments, jellies, hot sauce. The things we enjoy were on the shelf. And everything else we needed was handy and available. Knowing what your family requires, knowing their needs is really important. And it might take a little bit of your time to sit down and evaluate things, but if you create a list of things that you need and you are able to continue to just keep adding to that list, you will be so much better off. Now, I want to mention 2 things. One, you may be in a position right now where you don't have the funding to stock up any more than you already have. Let me add a little bit to my story. Another reason why we were able to eat like kings and queens is because God took care of us. We have an extremely strong faith and trust in the good Lord. We put Him first in our life. We do our part as we are required to do. You know, we're not sitting on the couch eating bonbons and not making an effort. We made an effort. He met us where we were at, and He took care of us. He provided for all of our needs during those 7 years that we were walking out our financial issues. When you get in those situations, sometimes you can't get a foothold and be able to get out of them very easily. But God carried us through that. God saw us through that. And God saw us through that time. And guys, we saw miracle after miracle. His hand, His presence in our lives through those 7 years and today. Putting God first is the most important thing. A lot of people have God in their lives, but they don't have room for Him to be first. In order to be prepared, 100% prepared in our life on this earth, God needs to be first. When God is first and you put your works and your efforts forth, he meets you and he will take care of you. So if you aren't doing it in that order right now, I'd recommend that you also maybe shift that as well. There's great importance there. And not only putting him first, but seeking him for guidance, direction, wisdom, knowledge. I couldn't imagine living life without him. And he adds all of that to our life and our lifestyle. The other thing I want to put out there is you can join our newsletter by going to trayerwilderness.com/newsletter. And as a gift to you guys, you will receive our preparedness worksheets. It'll give you a place to start. And that way you can get in there and add your food, add what you have, add what you need. It's important to inventory what you have. If you already have minimum, it should be pretty simple to go through and do. If you already have a good supply, it's really good to know what you have. The other important thing is rotating your food. Make sure that you are using things that are older first and keep replenishing. That's really important also, so that you're not wasting your funds and allowing things to go bad. Our food is an investment. You know, we've had people have all kinds of things to say about our food supply and our choices and how we choose to live. And, you know, I really don't care what other people have to say. My goals and the way we live here is how our family desires to live, and that's what's most important. The other thing that's most important to me is not only how we live, but that we are able to take care of ourselves and that we are taking care of our family. So if you're one to worry about what other people think, nix that too. It really doesn't matter. Get to that place in your life. It's an amazing freedom. Trust me. But stock up, guys. I've been educating and inspiring and encouraging for the last 2 years. And in my live videos, which have been very long, we've talked about all these things, but the average person doesn't have that kind of time to watch those long videos. So this series is going to be short and sweet. Each video will have its own content with takeaways. If you have questions, please leave them below. Those questions will be answered in another video. And keep preparing forward. Keep preparing faithfully forward. There's a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of odd things happening. But I want to encourage you also. Part of my live videos has been to encourage, and I'm going to try to encourage you today. There's much out of our control today. Much going on in our world that we have absolutely no control over. I learned a long time ago not to waste my energy, my headspace, or my joy on things I can't control, and instead focus on what I can control. And that is how set up I am here. It's what I think, how am I thinking? How am I spending my time? We are gifted the present. Live out of it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't look backwards unless you're looking to see where you came from and how you got where you are, because we're always improving. But live out of the present. Focus on the present. Focus on what you can do today to make tomorrow better. And just keep focusing that way. So start right now with your food. Figure out your inventory. Figure out what you need. And make sure you have at least 6 months to a year minimum of food. And something else I want to express to you, don't gloat and brag about what you have. There were times where people would think you were nuts and would have blown you off. Today, bragging about what you have puts a target on you. So don't do it. neighbors, friends, whatever. They don't need to know what you have. We're going to continue to talk about food. Tomorrow or in the next video, I will be talking about raw ingredients for those of you that do cook from scratch, how to figure out what you need. So start stocking up, start preparing if you haven't been. I hope you have been. Like I said, the shelves are getting bare in a lot of places. And here's something else to keep in mind. When it comes to your food supplies, we have a freezer. Our refrigerator and freezer in the house is propane. The other freezer we have is propane. I do have a friend that has an electric freezer in his place, our electric freezer there, so that we can have that running and full. But keep in mind, electric goes out, the grid could go down, propane's going to run out if that happens. You know, eventually things are going to run out. So what I want to recommend is if you're stuffing things in freezers, make sure you have things on hand that if that would occur, that you can what you have in your freezers, whether it be meat, frozen vegetables, whatever it is, or dehydrate things. Make sure you have stuff on hand to be able to quickly preserve that food. All right. The other thing is considering having freeze-dried food on hand. Freeze-dried food is, in my opinion, important in a lot of different ways. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry. It's also easy to store, and it has a long shelf life. I like to use Thrive Life. You can find them by going to TreyerWilderness.com/Thrive Life. And I don't like to eat a lot of preparedness foods, if you will. I have to be really careful with my diet, and it needs to be clean. Like, it needs to be non-GMO healthy foods. I can't always guarantee that in the preparedness foods on the market, but we have joined forces and have a great deal available to our audience, and you can find that by going to preparewithtreywilderness.com. It is good to have those things on hand. When things go crazy, it's nice to have convenience available to us if necessary. It's nice to have things that can travel with us if necessary. And I would highly recommend having some of those foods available and in your stash. So check those out. Those are two arenas that I shop from. Two other places that I like to purchase in bulk from is TreyerWilderness.com/Thrive Market, and also TreyerWilderness.com/Azure, AZURE. Another thing I like to have on hand is greens, powdered greens. And one of the brands that we enjoy most is TreyerWilderness.com/Athletic Greens. These links will all be in the description below. Check them out. If you're able to, add some of them to your stash, to your larder, and keep going. And just keep focusing forward. Wherever you can, add more. I look at it this way. The more you have, the better off you are. And if you are able, go for it. Right now, we just don't know what's ahead. Another thing that I'll be sharing on is some of the material things I feel necessary for you to have on hand. And we will talk more about that in one of the upcoming videos. But guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you enjoy this type of content. Leave your questions, your comments below. Be sure to hit the like button. Share these if you know other people that could benefit from them. And the more you comment and like, the better these videos get viewed. And we would love to have you subscribe and continue to follow us on this journey. We have a lot of videos out there that you can binge watch, but I also intend to continue this series because there's a lot of things that people need to be aware of. So thanks so much for joining. Have a fabulous day. Keep preparing faithfully forward, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.